Super Nintendo library. Katun here started the project Blindfolded, DKC, in late summer of 2016. I was like, I knew him since like quite a while, and the history that this run went through is like actually really thrilling, and I hope I can give you a little bit of an insight about like the background story of this run, how it developed, about like all kinds of different strats, especially about the blindfolded aspects, since that's like really interesting. Also a little bit about the game mechanics, but yeah, we're starting. Off we go with World 1. There is, gameplay-wise, not really a lot to say about the first two worlds here. For those of you who know DKC2, we have a few worlds, and pretty much the first two worlds of those are, gameplay-wise, not really very interesting. Since at the start of each world, there is going to be a wall barrel putting you into a little side room that's going to lead you right to the goal. So most of those levels are actually really fast. Not really a lot to say. One thing to say, like right away, this is, even though it's blindfolded, a legit speedrun. So you're going to see a lot of speedrunning techniques. You're going to see a lot of the wrong warps, gold spawns, even some of the newer stuff that just got recently discovered. But obviously, in the first two worlds, you're not going to see any of the wrong warps, since like setting them up would take longer than just doing the normal way, blindfolded, and they would also be a little bit too risky. So just right away, if you guys have any questions about the blindfolded run, like especially about the blindfolded aspects, make sure to write them in chat. I'll hope I can see a lot of them and answer them. But yeah, we're already almost at the end of World 1. There's really not a lot to say here. So maybe I should start off with saying how Katun approaches different levels. You could already see him doing like some kind of weird crouch jumps and all that kind of stuff. A lot of techniques in this game are something that we blindfolded runners call normalized movement. Normalized movement is a pretty cool thing that some game developers put into their games, basically allowing you to make like a rather imprecise input, allowing you to move for a certain amount of pixels every time without any RNG. So that's why you're going to see a lot of those normalized moves here in the speedrun. And another thing that Katun uses a lot of, like apart from normalized movement, is timing. I'm going to come to that in just a second, because we're about to hit the first boss, the Crow. And for those of you who know the game, the Crow is a pretty horrible boss. The Crow only has 4 HP, so we gotta hit the Crow with 4 of his acts. The first 2 acts are actually scripted, so it's always going to take them out of his nest and just throwing them at the player. Katun can easily avoid those since they're always spawn at the same time. But for the last 2 acts, there's a little bit of a problem, because the Crow just knocks against his own nest, throwing out like random X. Some of them are fake, so you can actually not put them up. Some of them are solid, and you can hit the Crow with it. Now, it's not only the amount of fakes that's like significant, but also where the X spawn. Like you could just see that Katun accidentally knocked one of the X against the nest, which made the X destroy here actually again, and now he got damaged. So the positioning of the X is completely RNG. You cannot predict that. So Katun is using like kind of a cheese strat here, trying to not get hit and hit the Crow at the same time. He gets incredibly bad RNG though, and generally the rule of thumb is losing a Kong is way worse than getting a big amount of fakes, but apparently here we get both, which is kind of a time loss and also makes the start of World 2 a little bit different. So yeah, Katun just got the final hit and Crow is dead. He lost Dixie Kong though, so that's gonna be a little bit weird. There is an audio cue for the X being real. They have like kind of a landing sound, like if they hit the plank, you know that they're real because you didn't hear that. But otherwise they just fall through and you won't hear like something like a landing sound of the X. So now you could see Katun actually not going into World 2, which would be if you had 2 Kongs, but rather getting Dixie back in 1-1, and now he has to spend, or he has to take a flight with the airplane to get to World 2. That's like a minor time loss here, but World 1 and 2 is still pretty straightforward. There is something interesting to say about 2-1 though. Don't know if you see it. You can get like kind of a little teaser. You're gonna see that level quite a lot. The reason for that is that at the top left there of the start of the game, there's a hidden chest including 2 lives, and this is Katun's favorite farming spot here. Obviously for Blindfolded you need to farm for a little bit more lives than you would usually do in a speedrun, since the risk of dying, like especially in the later levels, is incredibly high. There you can see Katun picking up some of the lives. He's not going to do his main farming yet, he's just going to get a few extra lives. The main farming to like 40 lives will be done after Bramble Blast. Why that is, I'm going to explain later, but yeah, he... let's just say there is a reason he doesn't want to have too many lives at this point, or he doesn't want to waste too much time. Also, he's using a technique here where he's just pausing and pressing select after that, which allows him to get directly out to the map again and restart the level. That is the reason why, for example, in a 1 or 2% run, or in a all or like no warp run or whatever, like basically what I'm trying to say is he could never do the wrong warp, because this farming spot is so important, and when you do a wrong warp, you can exit the level, but the game actually never realizes that you finished the level the intentional way, so which is why you cannot pause select out of so yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised how much he farms at this point. I'm assuming he goes for a little bit of safety since this is a marathon. But yeah, like, if you would do an actual, like, in his usual PD attempts, he farms here a lot less because there is a potential soft block coming up in World 3, forcing him to reset, which would make him lose all the lives. So that's why usually it doesn't farm that much here, but yeah. So again, in World 2 also, a lot of those warp belts right at the start, which is why I'm going to tell a little bit more about Blindfolded again. So I already told you there is normalized movement in this game. Another technique, like pretty much this, the most important technique that Katun uses for blindfolded orientation is counting the beats of the background music. Like DKC to, or like basically the entire DKC trilogy has incredibly good background music, and it's also incredibly rhythmic, at least to like the most part, which allows Katun to simply count the beats of the background and perform strats like move to the right for like 3 beats and then perform a roll. That's pretty much how like 80% of his strats work, and that is extremely consistent, which is also why he has to focus so incredibly much on the background music. Like if he would like focus more on normalized movement, for example, he could maybe do the commentary himself, but since this needs so incredibly much focus on the background music, he has to be like pretty much on point all the time. So yeah, as you can see, he's also rushing through World 2 like pretty fast here. So we're coming up on the second boss soon, and that one is going to be interesting for sure. So yeah, he hits the warp level. That one can be a little bit tricky sometimes. There are some moments where he has like a little bit of a rough time hitting that, but no problem here. And we're through. Also, what you could already see, he used in 1 or 2 levels, he used a technique called goal swapping, where you basically walk onto the goal and switch. That was unfortunate. That was a little bit of a mistake there. So yeah, usually what he does is he is trying to hover under the thing. So goal swapping, basically you walk onto the goal, swap Kongs in the same moment, and basically it skips the Kong change animation, and you get directly out of the level, saving a little bit of time there. So there are actually a lot of speed techniques in this run. It's not like this is not a speed run. This run is incredibly optimized. Like, you cannot even tell how this like when this started, this was way less optimized. So yeah, Katun having a little bit of trouble here finding the timing for this. See him rubbing his face there a little bit. But this is all reasonable. Like, it's pretty much impossible to play flawless, like in a normal speedrun or in a blindfolded speedrun. Okay, so that technique that he just used there, you saw that he crouched with Dixie Kong, and then just waited for a few seconds. Now, the reason why he does this is actually pretty interesting. So, as you can imagine, since you have to manage two Kongs, and you have to swap them like all the time to do like different kind of jumps, and different kind of maneuvers, it can be sometimes hard to remember which Kong you are, especially if you have to focus on beats all that time. Now, why did he do what he just did? So basically, both Kongs have an idle animation. So if you don't move, oh, nice, there we go. So if you don't move, Diddy Kong is just gonna juggle with his balls, and Dixie Kong is just gonna chew her chewing gum, and both of that are gonna make a distinguishable sound effect. However, if you just have them in the idle animation, the order in which they do that is completely RNG. However, if you crouch with the main Kong, only the secondary Kong will do the idle animation, and that way you can find out which Kong you are. So if you just see Katun just crouching there for a little bit and waiting, that means that he forgot which Kong he is, and that way he can find back out which one he is. Okay, so now for Cleaver's kill. This fight went through an incredible amount of restrats. Back in the days when Katun was doing a blindfolded 102% run, which I'm definitely going to tell you about later. Like, already then, Cleaver was never an easy boss. It's definitely not the hardest boss in the game, and not the hardest level, but till he found a setup that was like pretty much as consistent as it could go, it took a hard time. And also, it's not only the setup, but it's also the timing that is incredibly precise. Like, you just see him jumping around the hooks there all the time. It's not like this is not timed. Like, he has to focus on the timing because that's going to influence the cannonball spawn. And based on the cannonball spawn and where Cleaver is at the moment, he cannot hit Cleaver, which, like, those jumps look like rather random or like rather spam. Like, they are actually incredibly precise times, and it's really good that he got this first try. So that was an extremely good job. And well, yeah, I'm gonna tell about the 102% run and the history of like Katun doing blindfolded in a little bit when we get to the farming. But for now, we come into the interesting part. World 3. We don't have any more warp barrels at the start of the level, and now it's getting pretty interesting. So you gotta, for most of the levels where there are no wrong warps or no doable wrong warps for blindfolded, he has to surpass the entire level. And you can see a nice little damage boost. Also a strat he's using quite a lot, damage boosting as like an audio cue. Here he picks up Rambi. Rambi being probably one of the nicest animal buddies for blindfolded, since he pretty much just insta-kills everything that is right in front of him, and he's also incredibly fast. Kind of hard to normalize with him, but it's still pretty good to get like through the level blindfolded. Yeah, you can see he doesn't really have to worry about like knockback of Kongs, since he's just Rambi and he's just standing there and destroying all the enemies. For those barrels, he's aiming for a strat where he just shoots out of the barrel as soon as he, as soon as the counter runs down, so he doesn't have to worry about as much timing. So you can see him not getting the midway barrel, which is usually pretty untypical for this kind of speedrun, where you kind of want a lot of safety. This is actually one of the few midway barrels that he doesn't get. The reason for that is if he would die here, he wouldn't have Rambi anymore. And getting like from that little island and continuing without Rambi would be incredibly hard. So if he dies there, he would prefer to just start at the start again, but rather have Rambi, which would get him like would be a little bit slower, but it would be a lot more consistent that way. So yeah, and also like every time you see him just crouch for like a tiny amount of time, that's actually normalized movement. Like, if you hold down and then like hold down right, so to say, and then jump, keep holding down right, you'll stay in a kind of crouch mode, and as soon as you land, you crouch again. That way the jump will be normalized. interesting fact, there are like 2 kind of normalized jumps for each Kong, and there is also a difference between the distances of each Kong's normalized jump. So he has like 4 normalized jumps plus the rolls that each Kong can do, which are also normalized. So there's a ton of normalized movement. Team throw to some degree can also be normalized, so there's a lot of cool normalized movement you can use here. Okay, so for this level here, Glimmers Galleon, underwater levels are kind of tricky for Blindfolded in DKC2, since Katun has to diverge from his usual strats. So I already told you that Katun is using a lot of beat strats and a lot of normalization. This kind of doesn't work out for underwater levels, and the reason why that is that there is obviously no normalized movement for underwater levels, apart from like something stupid like moving against the wall. That's always normalized. You're always gonna line with the wall, but there's nothing like normalized jumps and normalized rolls. There is no normalized swimming, which makes those levels kind of hard. And specifically for this level, the interesting thing is that he uses a lot of sound cues, like the sound of picking up a banana, or like the sound of the decay barrel dancing there. The reason why that is interesting is because he actually doesn't use those sound cues in like most other levels, because he says they're imprecise, and they are, because obviously your reaction time, if you only would react to such an audio cue, would be heavily delayed. For those underwater levels, they kind of work out, but like like there, for example, he's going to use a strat where he's going to swim to the right, and then as soon as he hears the banana, now he's going to move to the left. For this underwater level, it kind of works, but for most other levels, it would not really be viable since the jumps would be way too precise. So yeah, there is gonna be... this level is actually pretty smooth. This is kind of impressive how he gets through here. That's another nice thing. You can swim under that puff top only with Dixie. You could not do that if you would be Diddy Kong, because Diddy Kong is too fat for some reason. Probably because he ate too much honey. But yeah, this is really, really good. How do we know he's completely blindfolded? Because Katun is like a really awesome guy. And I know him since like almost a year, and this guy would never cheat. This guy is just amazing. He's such a skilled player, I just cannot tell it enough. So if you love this game, you should definitely drop him a follow. Like, what this guy does is just freaking amazing. Okay, so that was a flawless 3-2. Pretty amazing. Alright, let's talk about 3-3, Crackhead. So for those of you who are not familiar with the speedrunning community of this game, there has recently been a new Wong Warp discovered in 3-3, which interestingly enough saves 17 seconds, which was just enough, like literally just enough, to cut down the world record by Void down to a sub 40, which that was just insane. So since Katun is like a very high tier player and he does like all the fancy cool speedruns, he's obviously going to implement that brand new Wong Warp that was just discovered this Wednesday into the run. And I'm supposed to give someone a shout out here, I remember. Oh yeah, so first of all, shout outs to I hope I don't butcher those names now. Type Tsuki for discovering this Wong Warp, but he discovered a Wong Warp setup that was 2 frame precise. Now, there has been another guy called Amarati Kendo, who actually found a setup that has a 24 frame window, which is the one that Katun's going to use, because obviously that's way better for Blindfolded. Let's see if we can get this Wong Warp first try. And there we go, first try Wong Warp, very nice. That's pretty amazing, it's gonna save him a lot of time. Katun himself wasn't really too happy about the discovery of this Wong Warp. Simply because, like, let me quote him here, this used to be a fun level. That's a quote from Katun. This simply because this was one of the very, very good platforming levels, and now it's basically skipping like all the fun platforming part and just doing the Wong Warp, which is kind of unfortunate in a gameplay perspective. But well, it saves time, and this is a speedrun after all, so yeah. About Rattle Battle. Obviously, with the snake, you can also do normalized movement, which you're gonna see him do right here. So he's aligning with this wall, and what you can do with the snake, you can charge your shots to get like a higher distance. And funny thing is, if you charge a shot, fully release a fully charged jump, and then during the jump, you hold the charge button again. You're gonna start charging as soon as you land, which will make the jump with the snake completely normalized, which is pretty nice here. And I think he uses that actually quite a lot with the snake, which makes moving with it quite a lot better. And also, since the snake can jump so incredibly high, it's generally a nice animal buddy for Blindfolded. There is one big downside that I want to tell you about this level in particular here. As you can notice, the ship is like kind of moving back and forth due to the waves, which is, well, you might consider this a nice little effect of the developers. Problem is that this is simulated by the camera moving slightly left and right. Now, there's a problem with the camera slightly moving left and right, since the enemy spawns are depending on if they are on screen or on the camera or not, which it doesn't happen a lot, and it's kind of rare actually, but in the worst case, this can screw up the spawns of the enemies, forcing the setup to completely fail. So, which is why the moving ship is like kind of a downside, but again, the Katun is pretty consistent. And like, enemy spawning too early or too late is like something pretty rare, but it can happen occasionally. But this looks like extremely solid. So yeah, as you can see, he's like just jumping like a maniac over all those enemies. And also very nice that there is this decay barrel right at the end so that you can start the next level of 2 Kongs. Alright, so Slime Kind, another awesome level. So for those of you who know the speedrun, you know how the drill is. Changing Kongs here to dodge the fish was really nicely done, the timing for that is pretty precise. And then getting a damage boost off of those ropes, and then performing an insane super jump right at the top. There we go. Conveniently enough, right into the decay barrel so that he gets the Kong back, and then he's going to do immediately the one warp of his level. So again, this is extremely optimized, and let's hope he can get the one warp first try. He is pretty consistent with wheel crashing Blindfolded, however, due to its extreme precision, and since he only has audio cues, it's kind of hard. Okay, let's see. Oh, good. Very nice. It can kind of be hard to, like sometimes he has problems turning around and throwing the barrel like not too early, or like actually making it all the way to the left. But this was amazing. Getting this first try is like insanely good. So yeah. Now let's talk about probably one of the worst levels in the game, Rumble Blast. So as you notice, Katun is saving here, and you might be wondering why. So Katun has the nicest little nickname for Bramble Blast, well, like level 3-6, and that's Soft Lock Shithole. And now just think about this for a second. You cannot see. Oh, that was kind of unfortunate, but it's good that this timing mistake happened at the start. So you cannot see, and you have to use timing, and you are in a maze of barrels. And one barrel only will shoot you to another barrel, apart from like 1 or 2 which will shoot you into the spikes, and like one single one that is progress. Now, imagine what happens if you use your timing just for 1 second. You get lost in there, and you can only shoot to other barrels, and you have to be extremely lucky to actually die there, which is why in the worst case you can literally soft lock there Blindfolded, because you cannot escape the barrel maze, and you'll just be there forever, which is the reason why he ultimately saves there right before that, so that he can just reset if he notices that he soft locks, or like, well, it's kind of a semi-soft lock, but for Blindfolded it really is fun. So you can reset. The downside, however, of resetting is that you'll end up losing all his banana coins. That was a very nice trick, by the way. That shot horizontally to the left is pretty precise. So he will lose all his banana coins, and he also loses all the lives he farmed, which is why I told that he usually doesn't farm that much before this particular level. After this level, he's usually going to farm up for about 40 lives, but you usually don't see him farming a lot more before that. So yeah, you're gonna see a ton of the wrong warps, like pretty much all of them. So yeah, again, this like the way, like apart from this minor screw up like at the very start, which really doesn't matter, this is extremely good. Like not messing this up is really good. Oh no, ah shit, yeah, you could see Katun rage there. That is really unfortunate, getting hit by the clamp on there, like so far in. That sucks, but still really solid on the first try. Most important thing is that he got the midway, so getting the midway is probably the most important thing. Also, another thing one can see, like very easily, how this run got optimized and how he got like incredibly more. I think. Okay, he got out of there without having to reset. Like back in the days when with the first few any percent speedruns, after he got the midway, like in the initial attempt of getting the midway when he first did it, he would just immediately die on purpose and then just start a new strat from the midway barrel after respawning. But now he actually has two strats, one for continuing and one by spawning in the midway. So this got extremely optimized just by how he's trying to build up more and more speed in his runs. So yeah, I don't know about his PB. Like he just PB'd this Wednesday. I can't recall if he had like any problems with this level here, but this level is usually not really nice. I'm not sure if it's in his top 3 of the hardest level. It is definitely not the hardest level, by far not. But it's definitely one of the most annoying levels, if not the most annoying, simply due to the fact that you can be lost inside the barrel maze. So let's see, you got past the climb line? Yeah, it looks like you made it. So yeah, that was still a very solid Bramble Blast here. Okay, so now for the boss. This is probably one of, like, I want to say, if not the easiest boss in the game. So what we have here is a giant rat with a big club with nails. Not really too big of a deal. You can mostly ignore the stunts that you get if he lands while you're on the ground. So this fight is no RNG at all. There's no RNG whatsoever, so you can... So ideally he just performs the same performance like every single time here. This involves losing Dixie and surviving with Diddy Kong, so he's only gonna get hit once. He's basically just rolling around here to avoid the clutches, and there's really not a lot to say about this run. Yeah, there we go, Dixie is gone, and I think he actually didn't even get this first try. Like, there are some times where for some reason this is the kill on the first try, but even Katun says that this is by far the easiest boss. There are way harder ones. So yeah. Also, one thing, since I'm saying that this is the easiest boss, it's still not an easy boss. So the rolls are pretty timed so that you can get them in time. So getting this first try is really respectable. Really solid fight, and we definitely saved some time on his PB there. Okay, so as you can see, we're not going for World 4 yet. Now is the time where he's going to do his main farming, going to World, not into this level, but into 2-1 to get the farming. They just did a little detour to get the Kong back. So again, like in his script or like in his strat notebook, he says that he wants to farm up for 40 lives. He might end up farming for more since he doesn't know like how many he has right now, which is like another problem. Like it's really hard to keep up with your life count. And another thing is that since this is a marathon and the pressure is obviously bigger, he might farm for a little bit more. But we don't know. So again, this farming spot is insanely important. So yeah, let me use this like little pause from the action to say something about the history of Blindfolded DKC2. So I know Katun since like early 2016, and I think around summer 2016 he had like he told me that he had the idea of playing his favorite game, DKC2 Blindfolded. And one thing you gotta know about Katun is that he is an incredible completionist. He has not a good time if he's not allowed to complete stuff 100%. Like he can barely do like a casual playthrough without like getting 100% of everything. And so he had the ambitious idea of doing DKC2 102 Blindfolded. So yeah, he did like about half a year of stratting. And ultimately, in the end, very nice. I remember that exactly because I was watching every single minute of it. On a very nice Sunday, he actually made the impossible happen and finished Donkey Kong Country 2 102% entirely blindfolded. His time was a respectable 16 hours, 3 minutes, and 16 seconds. That was very well, yeah, that was exhausting, not only for the player but also for the viewers. But yeah, that just simply the fact that he got that was so incredible. Seeing that he can play this entire game on a 2% blindfold was just incredible. I think in this one run though, he lost alone like 3 hours to Animal Antics. I mean, let's face it, Animal Antics is a horrible level. There is no talking about that. Oh, very nice. He's like literally on point. He has 41 lives. That's exactly what he was aiming for. Very nice. Okay, so that's just as a little history. That's like how everything started off. Not with any percent, but literally with 102%. Okay, so now that we got the farming done, let's talk about World 4 here. It's definitely gonna getting a little bit more challenging from the difficulty of the level. The honey is like kind of complicated, like especially honey climbing. You cannot normalize honey climb, which will cause like there is not really a normalized setup you can do that starts off a honey wall. So yeah, it's kind of hard to work around here. You gotta work a lot with beat strats and gotta kind of intuitively adapt to how you are, but it's also a lot about muscle memory. Like Katun developed a pretty good muscle memory about like being roughly able to normalize the honey climbing. So yeah, if he fails like a part at the wall, that's because of that, because honey climbing blindfolded is like extremely inconsistent. But to the degree he trained it, it's like almost perfectly consistent, which is pretty impressive. Okay, so for this spider strat, really funny, he just spams jump there, like in just a second. That should be... actually not, that's gonna be later. So the spider has some pretty interesting attributes, like unlike the snake or Rambi, it's not really as good for blindfolded. Oh, there we go. So he's just running into the enemy and spamming the jump button, and he's like, for some reason, even though this is completely not normalized and he's just literally spamming the jump button, he always lands back on the spider. It's so amazing. So yeah, the spider not really a good animal body for blindfolded. The webs are not really normalized, the movement is not normalized, the jumps are not normalized, like everything about the spider for blindfolded pretty much just sucks. Unfortunately, Katun needs the spider in like quite a lot of parts, like especially in Webwoods, you're gonna see the spider quite a lot. So yeah, I want to say the best thing about the spider is that you can gain height like that incredibly easily. And there's a really, really cool safety strat that you can do with the spiders, which would be just spawning those instant webs, pressing L and R like pretty much simultaneously, and then just basically creating a walkway right in front of him. And as long as you're high enough, you can just walk over like every enemy. Obviously, this doesn't work because there are like slopes in the ceiling. And it's also not very, very fast and not harmless. So that's necessarily not something you aim for in every single level. And he's going through here like really, really fast for what the spider allows to do. So yeah, again, spider really, really useful for gaining height, but for the rest, kind of annoying thing. So yeah, that was really, really good so far. This is probably not one of the hardest honey levels, but still, like, this game really increases in difficulty like the further you get. So yeah, this was a really, really good first try Hornet here. Okay, so now for the auto-scrollers. Target Terror, the first roller coaster level here. Definitely the easier auto-scroller level. Like the time. So first of all, he's only using beat strats here. So he's just counting beats like 1, 2, 3, jump, 1, 2, 3, jump, etc. And the time windows here are really, really solid. Like compared to some of the timings he has to do in this run, this is like comparably easy. Rickety Race is going to be a lot harder. So for those of you who like the speedrun, you know that there is some meme in the community about the swag balloon, which is a hidden 1-up balloon above one of those minus barrels. And of course, if you don't hit the minus barrel or the X barrel, the run is not valid. The problem is that the jump for this swag balloon is incredibly precise, and on PB attempts he usually doesn't go for it, but because he loves all of you, like every single one of you, he's obviously going to go for the swag balloon. In practice yesterday, where he did a nose reset when he got the swag balloon first try, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hyped to see swag balloon, and I hope you're too, because no valid run without a swag balloon. And that Kong loss is intentional, by the way. So it's not like he missed the jump there, it's just that he doesn't go for it anyways. Ah man, that sucks. Didn't get it first try. But yeah, Katun is not giving up. He's gonna get the swag balloon for this run being valid. Also, another thing. Obviously, you have to get back either Diddy Kong or Dixie Kong. And like in each world, Katun has like a preferred level. Mostly a level where the decay bell is pretty much at the start to get back one of the Kongs. So the further you lose a Kong into the progression of the world, like you gotta have some different strats to be able to get the Kong back. So let's see here. Let's get some good luck here for Katun and to get the swag balloon second try. Oh, I'm also very sorry. I promised him to pray for good RNG at the pro fight. So if he asks you if I ask for that, then you please say yes, because otherwise he's gonna slap me, and I don't like when he slaps me. So yeah, that was a little bit weird. I kind of don't know what the problem there was. Like, for some reason he didn't jump on one of the barrels where he was supposed to jump, but I don't know, maybe he just the controller didn't register the input, so let's see. So yeah, again, even though I said like in the earlier part of this run, this is the easier of the two roller coaster levels. It's very nice, you got the swag balloon. So this is actually a valid run now. Even though this is the quote-unquote easier roller coaster level, it's still not like easy in general. You always gotta put that into like relative terms. So yeah, this is the swag balloon. Just for you. He literally just did this for this marathon. Okay, so now we're getting back to the more technical part here. So there is, I want to say, one of the hardest run warps in the entire game, the Brambler. Just the setup for this is already extremely precise. You'll be seeing him doing normalized setups with both conks, doing like all kinds of normalized movements here just to get a pixel perfect position. And from that on, he's going to try to do to get the beetle into the corner, spawn the invisible sprite, and getting the long warp. But again, this is extremely precise, and if he gets this first try, this would be amazing, but can't guarantee for anything. Okay, let's see. Okay. So what went wrong there is he usually goes all the way to the bottom first, then jumps onto the left wing, and then jumps into the corner. So he didn't move right for like it was not slightly enough. He could have moved for like maybe a quarter second more, then he would have gotten it. But again, like as long as he gets it, I think in like the first 3 tries, it's still saving time. And considering how hard of a trick this is, it's third try would still be extremely respectable. So let's see. Again, the setup already is extremely impressive. Just look at how he's jumping over the beetle, despawning the beetle, and then doing different rolls, different team throws, which are all normalized, then switching the Kong to get like different distances. Like you can see switching him because the roll of Dixie is like slightly slower than the roll of Diddy Kong. This is just amazing. Okay, let's see if he gets it this time. Okay, jumps all the way down, very nice. Oh man, jump threw it a little bit too early. That sucks. But he's gonna get there, guys. Like, he'll see it, and he'll be impressed, I promise. Like, this run is just madness. You gotta see it. You cannot believe until you see it. Like, I mean, how many of you have ever been able to pull that off? To pull off that long warp just with eyes? I sure was never able to do that. Oh yeah, someone in chat just asked about Screecher Sprint. Screecher Sprint is what Katun considers as the hardest level in the game, and you can be hyped for that. That's gonna be insane, and I'm already hyped for commentating that. So yeah, the estimate is 2 hours 40. His world record is 1:52:29, so yeah. Like, in an ideal run, he can get far beyond his estimate. Like, again, this run has been so freaking optimized, it's not even funny anymore. Oh man, same mistake again, he did not run far enough to the right. So that might be a good time to talk a little bit more about the beat strats that he's using, like also for this level here. And also that's kind of part of the reason why he farmed so many lives, because he definitely needs them here. So like back in the days when Katun started off, he like searched for a way to get around Blindfolded, since like normalized movement is not really an option in most of the levels because there's a lack of platforms and the enemies are pretty hard, and like especially for those kind of rope levels or the levels with big gaps, normalized movement is not really a thing. So he had to use something else, and he came up with the beat strat. And I remember like when he first showed me some strats with the beats. He only used entire beats for the strats. That was back in the days when he didn't even consider something like doing the wrong warps. And I remember suggesting him using half beats for like more precision. And I can remember pretty clearly that he like called me like an entire, like a complete idiot for even suggesting something like that, because half beats would be way too imprecise. And the funny thing is, by now he's even using quarter beats, so some of the timing is just so incredibly precise, and being able to do all that just by counting the beats of the background music, that's pretty insane. So we just gotta wait for him actually getting his wrong warp. Again, it's one of the hardest wrong warps in the entire game. I'm actually not sure when he did this the intended way the last time, probably a few months ago. So there we go again, the normalized setup. No, the world record in Blindfolded is 152.29. He just got that this Wednesday. That was the first sub 2 run. Okay. Again, a little bit too early. There, like in every single run, there seems to be this one level that is like kind of off. For this run, it's probably this one. Oh yeah, there's also one thing that I should probably tell here. He has to, like, the beat setup for this, which he has to use to get the timing for the, to spawn the invis. It's kind of hard, like he has kind of a little handicap here, simply because he has to get the invincibility barrel, which obviously produces its own sound, which is like kind of covering the background music. So he has to completely ignore the invincibility sound, but has to still like focus and kind of imagine. Okay, that was weird. I don't know why this normalized setup didn't work. Kind of still imagine the right beat. So. Good thing that he has this, that in Rickety Race, sorry, not Rickety Race, but Target Terror, he can get the first comeback really quickly. But yeah, this level sucks. I think we can all agree here. Okay, so as long as this is going, because I pretty much said everything about this level. One more thing I want to say about the history of this run. So I already told you his first run was a 60-hour run with 1 or 2%, which he quote-unquote says he will never return simply because of animal antics, and I can totally understand him there. His first any percent run, I think, was in late 2016 with a 4-hour time. The next run he did was 3 hours, then 2.5 hours, 2:10, and as I already said, his newest PB is 152 that he got this Wednesday, so he's still pretty actively grinding for it. His sum of best is, I think, even below 130. Like, I'm pretty sure his sum of best is below 130. But of course, since he has so many splits, and he had to play literally flawless for that, it would be kind of hard to actually get that low and that close to the sum of best. And now I may introduce you to the man who knows way more about this game than I do. My co-commentator, Parisian player.
Hello, Punk. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm allowed to enjoy this incredible run. How are you?
So I just hopped in Bramble Scramble. Is he having an infinite here? How many tries is he doing?
I think this is like the 8th try now. Oh. He has like kind of hard time. Like some of the times he just doesn't walk all the way down, and some of the times he's just throwing the beetle a little too early.
Yeah, in practice yesterday he got it first try. And usually you get it in the 4 first tries. So the ideas for all people who ran or built that game, the ideas are very horrible to load correctly, and so that's why the beginning of the setup takes quite long. And then you need to find the perfect pixel here and to throw correctly, which you didn't do again. It's extremely difficult. He could be doing that level War Plus. However, for the swag, for showing the strats, it's way better than he goes for that difficult trick.
Also, you got the swag balloon second try, I think.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, definitely a valid run in any way.
Yeah, the run is valid if you got swag balloon, so no, it's good.
I mean, I'm pretty sure his world record didn't get swag balloon, so if he just finishes, this is automatically like a valid world record. So yeah, you have like anything more to say about this strong warp?
Until he doesn't find the good timing for the throw, it can take a little bit of time.
How big is the frame winner? This is a 4th frame winner, right?
Well, I always heard it was 6, but some people in chat might be more aware of this.
Either way, the frame win is already pretty precise, and like finding the right pixel, as Parisian already said, it's like also like extremely significant. And, like,
yeah, it's already a very hard trick with your eyes open.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So we're still loading some things. Yes, I don't know if he gave himself a limit of the number of attempts for this. The estimate he gave is pretty high anyway, so he might go.
Yeah, he has like he did a practice run yesterday, no reset run, which was quote unquote pretty horrible, but it was still below his estimate. So even what he himself calls pretty horrible is still under the estimate he gave himself. So even while being horrible, he's still extremely good. So
yeah, yesterday when his timer was off, and when he released his blindfold, he was like, okay, that's a 3 hours run.
Yeah.
And then Pong said, no, it's 2:25. Wow.
Yeah, he accused me of lying about the time that I kept up with in chat, but you gotta give him that, and I think Provision can confirm this for me.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Okay, setup is good. So now he's looking for the bananas here, jumping all the way. And when he finds the bananas, then he knows that he can move to his next setup. And GG.
Very nice. So, again, I think Parisian can confirm that while being blindfolded, you have an extremely hard time keeping up with the real-life time. Like, it's really hard to estimate like how much real-life time passed during the run. Like, I personally always overestimate, same goes for Katun. I think it's just generally hard because, like, I don't know why it is with Side easier to keep up with that, but I guess because you see the timer, obviously, but it's
okay. So he missed his timing here, so he took an intentional death. He explained that yesterday that he changed his strat very recently here about the bit counting, and he confused again. So I'm sure that now he will not do the same mistake here.
Actually,
also,
the reset wasn't even that recently. I think what he said was that he used like he has to use 9 beats here instead of 11 beats, and I think the 11 beats like originally came from his 102 run, which was like very far back actually, but he's still like sometimes, like especially in this level, like just that seemingly like every single time.
Also, you might be wondering why is he not taking DD, because DD is on the way. The thing is, if he takes DD, then all his music is messed up. So he's trying to do a consistent setup to reach the card at the exact same moments every time. And he's gonna grab DD in a level where, well, it doesn't care much about being that consistent with the beat count.
Yeah, and since there are no risks of actually like losing a Kong here for the setup that you choose here, like there's no point of having 2 Kongs here.
Yeah, you don't need 2 Kongs. You cannot get hit like in target error.
Yeah.
So he's gonna finish first of his race. He's gonna get the DK coin normally.
Yeah. And also one thing to consider is that he didn't grab the plus barrel like at the very start of this level to gain like extra speed, which actually makes this level quite significantly harder, because the gaps are like being able to cross them with less momentum makes the timing window a lot harder.
Metal March is one of the levels Katun fears often during his run, because you can get some infinites. Some of the jumps are have a very short time to give them.
Yeah, it's also one of the levels that has like the most complicated strats. Like he's using a wide variety of normalized strats and time strats. And if you have a look at like his script for the strats, it's like quite significantly longer than most other levels actually.
So getting the invincibility barrel, which is on top. So I guess you talked a lot about the normalized movement, the different kind of jumps. Here's the throws with the team jump.
Yep. You can see him doing those a lot here. Like every time he's doing one of those crouch jumps that's normalized. Or like
that
when he
is intentional, by the way.
Yeah, and like most of the team throws here are normalized. I think actually all of them. Also, one thing to note about the cats here that you can get stuck in, if you think that you could like maybe abuse the cats throwing you into a certain direction, that you could not do that, because the direction the cats throw you in is complete RNG. So he's trying to avoid or destroy them like at any given point within the strats.
Yeah, most of the time it's with normalized movements to reach the perfect position to be able to throw Diddy. Like he's going to do right here.
Yeah, like that, just to normalize spin and he's perfectly lined. Also, he's not going for the wrong warp in this level, since he had to jump with the cannonball over like a few certain gaps, which would not allow for the normalized movement, which would make this like way too hard and annoying and frustrating to set up. So that's one of the few wrong warps that's like not really worth going for, since it's so risky.
Well, a few things. You can do the wrong warp with Didi and Dixie. It's way easier with Dixie, but still it's too hard in Blindfolded. Plus, you're very close to the end.
Yeah.
So probably not worth it. Even if you have to... there's a section with the barrels thrown by the guy, which can be tricky if he's not well placed, because if you miss the normalized movement, all the mistakes you're going to do is going to be going along during the full level. So any small mistakes like this in timing can cost every time. So that section is the hardest section of that level.
Definitely, and it's also like the reason why this level went through so many restrats, like this level and some others, like Cleaver's Kiln, like those levels went through so much restratting. Like I can't even recall like at least a dozen of restrats that this level went through just to make it like at least risky as possible. But there's never a 100% perfect setup for this, which is kind of unfortunate. But I think Katun found the setup that works for him best. But that like it really took some time to find that, since this is like especially the last part with the barrels you have to jump on. It's pretty hard to nail.
Did you go for Crockhead?
Yeah, and he got that first run. That was very nice.
Showing new stuff from...
Yeah, definitely. Very impressive. Also, one thing we should maybe talk about with jumping across those barrels here, coming up in just a second. Since he's using beat strats on most of those, he is trying to put the barrel sound effect in sync with the beat, with like the timing for the beats, which may cost a little bit of time if he's just crouching there for a little bit, you know, that he's trying to get that in sync, but it makes this strat just generally easier, because if you have like two different beats hammering all the time, it's like significantly harder to nail this.
Seems good.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, very good.
Now it's a bit easier normally.
Yeah.
The last barrels are not as hard as those ones.
And he's perfectly aligned. Like normalized movement here really pays off. Like even jumping across enemies, you can keep normalized movement, which is really nice.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, that.
Very weird mistake here.
Yeah, that's something he usually doesn't do. Kind of sad because he got like past the trickiest part, but I'm sure he would be able to recreate it.
I tried myself some of the normalized movements recently because I just started trying to find a few setups for DKC1. So now when I see him playing, I see him differently from his movements. I know why. For example, when grabbing an object here, why does he fall immediately down? It's the way the game is programmed. He just doesn't press down as soon as he hears the noise. It's just he's pressing diagonal, down and right, and when he grabs something with that, then the Kong is moving, and when the barrel or whatever it was he had, Dixie had in her hair, then she's crouching. The Kongs are crouching. So it helps to have some very good setups.
Definitely. Yeah, let's see. Barrel shots again.
No! As you can see, any mistakes can be costly at the end of the movements.
Yeah, like normalized movement, like it can work out if you mess like one step up. You may just notice it like 10 steps after, and you saw that just there. Even though that looked really impressive though, but it kind of didn't work out.
Even though probably if he had reached the platform, probably since he would have been a bit further back than usually, could have messed up later on in the level.
But generally, hitting this platform from the setup is already pretty precise. Like I think he only has like 1 or 2 pixels to play there. That's really precise. Even though like the platform hitbox is like kind of shorter than like the actual sprite, so it's something to consider. But obviously he doesn't bother with that because he doesn't see the sprite.
Someone in chat said that the level background is really beautiful. I don't know, I was thinking about the music also. The music in general and the SNES games are pretty amazing.
And it's like it's also pretty useful. Like I already said that like most of the background musics and almost 100% have like a very rhythmic like bass tone to it, so that you can really well utilize it from Blindfolded.
Yeah, that also. I don't know if you talk with the differences in setups with Super Metroid, since you're playing Super Metroid Blindfolded.
Oh no, I did not talk about like difference to like other Blindfolded or other games in Blindfolded, but generally just saying that Katun is like kind of required to use like all those speed strats, because like with normalized movement or like even something like intuition, with all those extremely precise jumps, it would kind of hard to use like only intuition or only normalization. So you really got to rely on the speed strats. So there are not a lot of other ways you could possibly do that. Like especially, you just gotta wait for Screecher Sprint, and you'll see that like beat strats, I could not imagine another way of solving something like Screecher Sprint. if not with beat strats. Like,
Yes,
you will
so-
be amazed by that level. It's literally insane.
So Punk and I, so Punk plays Super Metroid Blindfolded, and I play A Link to the Past Blindfolded, and we can recall a lot more intuition. We have often in some difficult rooms, some places where we have some very like mechanic movements, and we know exactly what we're doing. But often, like we know where we are, so we recall what the room looks like, and we can helps us to figure out what we're willing to do in that specific room. He can hardly do that because the levels are too difficult.
There we go. Yeah, the levels are too difficult. Well, the thing is, it's not like Katun is not like what you said. We're kind of trying to imagine the room, kind of trying to remember how the room looks like, which helps us to orientate in the room. But Katun still imagines the room and he knows like what's happening around him. It's just the fact that it's not really useful for him. And also a thing like the advantage with like A Link to the Past Blindfolded and Super Metroid Blindfolded is the fact that like obviously for like apart from a few pits or something, like we have health bars there, and Katun just has his 2 Kongs which die in 1 hit, and he has this he has this one where if he falls down there it's rip. Oh, very nice, he finished the level. So yeah, that's another big disadvantage of DKC2 for Blindfolded. It's just one mistake and that's usually reset. For us, it's more like one mistake, we maybe lose a heart or like an energy container, and then we continue. We can recover, but basically recovery here in this game, Blindfolded, is extremely hard. You basically want your setup to work immediately, or you'll just try it again. There's really not a lot in between. So yeah,
it's also I never read your strats notes, but Katun's and my strats notes are very different, and you can tell how different it is between the games, because basically his notes are just a succession of normalized movements. So I do that movement, then I do that movement. Whereas, well, for me, I found this wall with my sword, then I move a little this, then I found the stairs, and then I...
Generally, Katun is not using a lot of text in his text document. It's like literally all just abbreviations and then like little numbers behind it to know like how often or for how many beats he has to do it. So yeah,
his notes are very short, but it's very dense.
Yeah.
Like his notes are...
He sent us his notes like like in preparation for this, and we thought like we asked him to make like a few commentating notes, and he like one day before he did that, he sent us his strats, and it was basically just a sponge of letters and numbers, and I was like kind of shocked because I thought that would be the commentating notes. I was like very thankful that he actually made something with text, because working in like just being able to read this with like understanding it would already take quite some while. But I mean, Katun is kind of into IT, and I guess that's like also how that works, like a little bit more restricted and logically. Oh yeah, this jump here.
He lost a Kong, so I don't know if he... Yeah, the problem, he probably need both Kongs for the setup, so yeah, he's gonna die. He's gonna kill himself.
I think he could do it with 1 Kong, but timing it would be kind of hard to time that.
His setup, I think, requires 2 Kong, and then his move. Then, after that, he's correctly set up. He grabs DD, and he does the jump, which is pretty tricky. The jump he's going to do, normally in casual, you would go on the right side of the level, and you have some bees, a moving barrel, and you have to shoot correctly. That's too risky. You could do it. I think at the beginning, at his 102%, that's what he used to do. However, it's the jump he will be doing to cut that section is pretty precise, but it's safer. And it's usually a backup strat we find in speedrunning. In any percent speedrunning, you will find people normally doing the big boy jump. And if you miss it, then you will go for the jump he's going for.
I'm pretty sure he experimented at some point with the big boy jump, but the setup seems like a little bit more harder and like riskier than just doing the setup that he does off right now. Okay, let's
My
see
confidence on that big boy is depends from runs to runs.
Yeah,
I'm okay on this one. It's the one in 2-2, which I found much harder for some reason. A lot of the runners say that this one is harder. So yeah, as you can see, you need to find that hook, normalized jump, and then he's going to. But then nothing is normalized here, so he has just to count the beats in order to start the roll at the correct moment.
I think this is one of the instances where he might be able to like using half beats or even quarter beats. He said that he used those in some instances, so very nice that he got that. Pretty precise timing here.
Hard work is still not done until the halfway. When he reaches halfway, then the rest of the level is free. But until then,
good hit.
Got the hit there. Might not be over yet.
Okay, so you see him waiting there. The reason for this is that this particular background music has a part that has like almost zero beat. It's just more or less like a very swift humming without like any beats in it. So at this part, he simply has to wait till he has something that has a beat that he can focus on. That should be like a few seconds, but he simply has to wait here because he has no other way of like doing the timing correctly. That's just simply due to the nature of the background music.
Someone in chat says, I hate when runners don't interact with chat. We made a lot, people made a lot of that joke also when I did my blindfolded run.
Yeah, like in every single blindfolded run that I did or have seen, like there's someone who says that he hates when there's no chat interaction.
Okay, we're good. So normally finding the midway is not a problem. It's going to make very small jumps just to be finding it pretty well.
Good.
And now it's
midway.
I'd say it's pretty free.
Yeah.
No stress here.
Especially the Rambi part, like I already said. Rambi definitely being one of the best animal buddies for blindfolded, making this part a lot easier.
Basically hold the A button and then release and spam.
Then you're good to go.
The jumps. So here you just need to be sure to have the A button released after the jumps, because otherwise, for some reason, Rambi is not running anymore, and so you have to restart the dash.
Yeah.
And since the Kingzing is chasing you, you don't want that.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to get that if you don't get like this little advantage at the start, but he did like the kind of race part there, and now we're gonna get to the final boss with this world here, Kingzing himself. This boss here is 100% timed. If he just messes up the timing once, it's gone. And he also, like in recent runs and recent attempts, he kind of had the problem that he like accidentally did like some left-right inputs due to the nature of like him holding the controller and doing like different kinds of inputs. So just the slightest misstep or the slightest mistake here, deviating him from the strat will cause like the entire thing to fail. But so far, really, really good.
Yeah, he had trouble last times, but
also the hitbox.
Way too late.
Oh shit!
Way too late.
Yeah.
Surprising. Probably a bit more than what he should have done. Don't sleep on the king, as we say in speedrunning.
Yeah, the hitbox for this thing is like way smaller than it looks. Like when I first played this after already seeing like a few runs of like people hitting this thing, I thought that would be like easy because it has like a giant hitbox, but it's like way smaller than you would think it is. So those shots are all extremely precise.
Yeah, I recall casually it was a very hard boss. For speedrunning, it's okay. It's quite easy. But yeah, Blindfolded, it's probably the boss I prefer. Its threats I find great for this one. Okay.
Okay, now
Second
the
part
last
usually
phase-
is okay.
Yeah, he usually doesn't have a lot of problem with this part here. A few more hits and then it should be done.
All right. Word 5.
Okay, so do you want to say something about his skills degrowth?
Especially, I don't think it's one of the hardest levels of Word 5. It's not one of the levels where he can get some infinite.
Yeah, it mostly just involves some, like a lot of hover jumps with Dixie. Just some timing, but it's definitely one of the harder levels. And also something, like we already talked about, using sound cues instead of like timing. You cannot really use the sound cues of the ropes here, since that would be way too imprecise, and also this sound is like kind of delayed from like the rope itself, so that's not really an option. You really want to use timing here and not like the rope sounds for orientation.
Killing the big blue enemy also, he could, like when you throw pretty far, so he could be confident enough in not getting the damage and then continuing and trying to throw, but it's a safer setup the way he does, so it's a bit longer, but it preserves him a little bit from his nerves.
So far this looks really good.
Aren't the Ghost Rope super RNG in chat? Not at all. You barely have RNG in that game. So.
Yeah, like apart from the first boss, which is like
and
probably the biggest determining source of RNG.
The cannonball spawns in Cleaver, and one of the cannonballs in Ganon, you don't have RNG.
Are the cannonball spawns in Cleaver RNG? I thought they would like depend on the timing that you take the hooks.
Well, often the RNG is, depends on the frame you're entering some stuff, so it's not. It's hard to say.
At least that's what Katun said. So I'm not sure. So
it's impossible for me to guess in advance what you're gonna get, where you're gonna get the cannonballs.
Yeah. So this year definitely the hardest roller coaster level, since you have like not really a lot of speed. Crossing the gaps is harder, and also let me quote Katun here, since he's using the beat strats. This level has a quote-unquote humpa pumpa rhythm, which makes timing like half beats like way more harder, and also having the constant noise of hitting the barrels makes this also harder. So this is definitely the hardest roller coaster level.
Yeah. Also, if he was putting his own sound, like his mic sound, you could hear him counting the beats on his controller with his fingers. So with his thumb, like he's hitting the controller, and on the precise beats, then he press the button. So you hear the music on his controller, and you can hear that on a few levels.
That's definitely one of them. That's personally for me one of the highlights of watching his runs, like with audio. Like you should definitely drop in a follow and like see that himself. Like the way he's just constantly making music with his controller and like always staying in the perfect beat is like pretty fascinating to watch.
So entering that bonus to skip the bees at the top, you have to imagine that in 102% he had to do that bonus game, which is extremely hard because it goes very fast.
Yeah.
It took him a lot of tries. So he has only one Kong for that section, which is what he usually gets, because the third section is too hard for him to keep 2 Kongs. But usually he's fine. Look at the timer, it's gonna be pretty risky. You're gonna find a lot of zeros on the timer.
Yeah.
But always,
Actually,
always good.
when you hit the goal as well, or the gate as well, on the 0, there you go.
Here we go.
Just barely making it.
I think we saw 4 or 5 times the timer at 0.
Yeah. Also, that's another thing. He can, like, sometimes he forgets which Kong he is by just running down there and activating the goal. He knows that he's Diddy because Diddy is faster. If he would be Dixie, the goal wouldn't activate, so now he exactly knows which Kong he is. Just that minor thing of, like, little tricks of how to get around and finding out which Kong you are. Definitely a lot faster than the method of crouching and waiting for the idle animation of the passive Kong.
Clearly, he hesitated between which Kong he had. He changed like 4 times. So gonna grab the snake here to get different normalized movements, and also something interesting we're gonna see. The snake is always jumping when he's not doing anything. So, and he's sensible to wind. This is a windy level, and so when there's going to be wind, the snake is going and the Kongs are going to move, and so he will be able to find a correct position just by not doing anything at some point, just waiting for the snake to reach the correct position.
Something you might forget about when thinking about normalized movement is that also, like, passive movement is like a very legit thing that can put you just on the right spot. And also, according to Katun, this is his quote-unquote nemesis level. Not because it's very hard, but just because there's usually something that he just finds in the run that, for some reason, makes something not work. But
usually
again,
on the
it's not
first
one of
half.
the hardest level. Yeah, the first half. You had, like, there was a time when he actually had problems getting the snake and where he lost, like, complete orientation at the very start. But he got very consistent with this, so I'm not really worried about that.
Alright, that jump, sometimes he does it too late, and so he falls in the pit. Got the halfway. That cannonball is precise timing. He's gonna jump.
Very nice.
It's a good moment. Intentional damage because the DK barrel is next to it.
Yeah. Also pretty easy to set up to get on the hook.
You just need to not fall off that platform and it should be good. Okay. The end is very easy now. He's gonna hover with Dixie. He's gonna take the hit on the last B. Oh no, not this time. Okay,
Well, maybe you
set
want
up for
to,
that.
but for some reason landed in the barrel.
It's weird. I expected him to go way on the right and then jump little by little to find.
Yeah, usually he does that, but I don't know. It's good that he can, like, recover, or, like, that's one of the things where intuition actually comes handy when you make, like, I want to say, like, minor screw-ups that deviate from the strat and you can still somehow save it. So that just shows how that he's not completely relying on just the beat strats, but he's also, like, well having the level visualized and knows exactly where he is at all the time.
Oh, he killed both Claptrap, which is usually what not he's expecting.
Yeah.
He set up to kill the second one, but I guess that's good.
Right? Gotta have some good luck here.
It's too bad because the setup is very good for killing the second Claptrap, so I would have liked that people watch it. That's looking pretty bad.
Yeah, definitely not what he was aiming for.
Killing himself. So we're gonna find a new opportunity to look at that setup.
Yeah, he does a very interesting setup here for despawning with him.
Yeah, a lot of people in chat are thinking like, wow, PCP blindfolded, that must be extremely tricky. It is kind of, but it's not the hardest level.
Yeah, definitely not. PCP is, it's really cool. One of the advantages of PCP is since, well, yeah, I mean, like, compared to something like Screecher Sprint, obviously. A lot easier. Okay, let's see.
So he's making
Okay, there we
very
go.
weird jump backwards, and when it comes back down, the claptrap is exactly where it needs to be.
Yep.
You despawn the claptrap basically, and so that you reset his movements.
And when you get him on camera again so that he's on point, he's basically spawning exactly under you so that you can just kill him right away. Okay, so this is one of the many speed techniques that he's going to be using here. Since there are so many decay barrels here, he can just basically abandon the parrot that you're supposed to use here and just fall through the bees with the damage boost here.
So there's a common meme on DKC2 speedrunning about not taking the midway parrot. People say that if you take it, like you're very lame. Well, he didn't take it.
So he is obviously not lame. GG.
No midway.
So yeah, as you can see, he just gets damaged right away and gets a decay barrel immediately back. So very conveniently placed here. Just pretty much can just fall through here without losing like any amount of time. For the beetles, I kind of like this. Like the amount of time he waits and then just perfectly works out so that he can roll through all three of them at the same time.
Okay, now he's good. The end is gonna finish hovering with Dixie the entire time and take the damage to get the iframes.
Yeah.
Now.
This can be a little bit tricky, but usually gets the first throw very nice.
He went on the left side this time.
Yeah.
Yesterday in practice, he went on the right side, which is trickier. The timing is a lot more precise, and left side is just no problem. After the getting hit, you go on the left and you're done. Web Woods.
Oh, Jesus. Alright, so
that's
Web Woods is
infinite potential level.
Yeah, so there were quite some attempts where he took quite a few tries to get this. Can I tell the story of yesterday? With the reset
Yeah,
splits?
go ahead.
Okay, so especially the later part of this level involves the spider just producing an infinite amount of like those instant web platforms, just basically crossing the entire screen at either the upper or lower part of the screen. However, the thing is that he changed the setup of his controller, and he did a very unfortunate mapping mistake. So since like splitting with Blindfolded is like kind of weird, and you want to know your pace, Katun developed a program which can read out your paces. So now he remapped this thing, and the problem is that he remapped the R button to the button, or rather I should say the reset splits button to his R button, which caused every time he pushed R, which is every time he creates one of those instant webs, or every time he creates one of those web platforms going up, to reset his splits. So the first time he pushed R, obviously his splits were gone, which was kind of bad by itself. But then the voice, the very nice Windows voice, always says reset splits. He pushed the button R, and since this is like 200 times in this level, he had like just 5 or 10 minutes of the Windows voice saying reset splits, reset splits. And yeah,
didn't go well yesterday with his practice, so we had that for very long.
Yeah, he failed that level quite a lot, maybe because of that. So we could hear that reset splits for quite a long time, but and it obviously was irritating as hell for him because he couldn't focus on the beats. But yeah, that is kind of a meme now with the reset splits. Thankfully, he did not do that again. So yeah, I honestly really like this level from the Blindfolded setup. It always shows how weirdly programmed the camera in this game is. But coming up soon, you're gonna see a really interesting setup where he's basically walking off screen the entire time, and I really love that setup.
Also, yeah, when he's doing these platforms and then jumping to the next platform, you could be like, how long he should be doing this platform? Whoops, okay, that's happened sometimes. That means he didn't do the instant platforms correctly. That happens a lot
That can
at that
happen
level.
with that amount of instant platforms. It's like pretty high, like in this actually.
Yeah, so sometimes he's doing platforms a bit further ahead and then he's jumping on it like perfectly. The jump is normalized, but the way he's doing the platform further ahead is purely with beat counting on his controller again. So that's why it's also too bad that we don't have his mic open. And it's basically not like bum 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 bum. Just like with the music, if you hear the music in the background, it's exactly the same rhythm that he's doing.
Yeah.
And so
pretty amazing. And yeah, another thing, like you said, he's doing it completely with beat counting, which is pretty impressive. Like, just look how he's jumping from like one platform to another. Like here, he's like almost always landing like exactly in the middle of the platform, which is insane considering that this is not normalized at all. He's just completely doing this with timing, with the beats. This is insanely precise for something like not normalized at all. So this is like the amount of time he put into this and how consistent he got with this is like really just showing how optimized the run is and how optimized he as a player is in this run.
Yeah, so the first half of this level is usually not too much of a problem. It's that second half which is much more difficult because of those gaps, and you're gonna see the last big gap he's going to do. It's always impressive.
Yeah, and it's always scary as hell for someone watching it the first time, and even still for me who watched that like a few times already, it just looks very scary, the thing he's gonna do there. But you'll see it in just a few seconds.
So yeah, he has two big gaps to do.
Yeah.
And then one very small.
It's also interesting how he's apparently able to autocorrect his position on the platforms. It's so interesting.
Alright, so the next platform is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, just look at this. Don't be scared, it's all planned. And he's completely off screen, but he's fine, he's still alive.
He didn't hit the trigger yet. If he was a bit further down, then he would have died.
Yeah, this is extremely precise. Oh,
he died because of an instant platform he missed.
Webs, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much just as risky as doing this on the upper edge of the screen where you can still see the spider.
Yeah, the advantage
but
of
again, that can happen, just failing the instant platform from time to time.
Yeah, the advantage of being so low compared to the screen is that in this position, in the entire line, he will not meet any bees.
Which is why he's going that low in the first place.
Yeah, and you have a lot of bees that you cannot kill in that last big gap. Those red bees. And there are, I think, some weird patterns. You have one which is making a circle. You have two going up and down. So he's making two platforms there just because he can, and so that he has bigger insurance of jumping on a platform in the end.
Do you know what's like the maximum limit of instant clubs being on screen at the same time is?
Well, normally it's two.
Okay.
But sometimes it depends also if you're not on a platform. Sometimes one of the platform might despawn. So I never understood everything of the tech. Sometimes like I feel that I was on the platform. Oops, missed an instant platform again.
Dang. So yeah, Webwood's kind of bad level. We Katun already had a lot of bad memories and bad experiences with this level. But it's this level also went through a lot of restretting, just the same as Mudhole. It has been restretted for months. And I mean, this is pretty consistent. Like compared to any other setup you can do, this is hell of a consistent. But it's still blindfolded. You cannot get something 100% consistent, especially in such a situation where you're just walking over the abyss with a spider. So yeah. Ah, dang. He wasn't far enough there.
Normally he does not lose another spider, so he needs a second spider at the end, but there's a DK barrel. after the first like cannon barrel shooter.
Yeah.
We got the hook guy, a barrel shooter, and a cannon shooter. So he's keeping it? That's surprising, as I said.
That was...
It happened again.
Yeah, that's the thing with the spider and the webs. That's why nobody likes spider. Or most people know. But yeah, like... Again, the spider has like very... I want to say limited usage, like in comparison to the snake, Blindfolded, or like Randy. It's like not consistent enough to like use it for more than he's using it. That's also like overextending the use of the spider already in a little way.
So we got the infinite. I don't recall him. Did he finish that level first try in any of his runs?
I'm pretty sure he did not. Like, I think even in this PB and his previous PBs, he never finished this level first try. I'm pretty sure, like, in his previous PB, he definitely took, like, at least more than 5 attempts, but I'm pretty sure he didn't get it first try in this PB either.
Because even in Mud Hole, which is comparable in terms of difficulty, he did finish the Mud Hole first try once.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trip on Knives in chat. Yeah, the spider is a very good... for this kind of category, the spider is a very good buddy. The problem is not the spider, the problem is the gaps.
And kind of the lack of normalized movement as well, and yeah, as you said, the inconsistency of the webs is like for Blindfolded, it's more of a problem than for other categories, I would say.
Because we play Blindfolded. Oh, please. Okay, I don't know how he realized that he didn't get the instant platform here, so... Oh my god, that was so...
He does that quite a lot.
So lucky.
This was... yeah, that was...
He missed twice. The first time he saw that he didn't get it. So
yeah, like I assume he just had the feeling that he didn't do the input correctly. But yeah, this is... that was so freaking lucky. Oh.
So he has only one Kong, which he usually sacrifices a Kong on the last enemy of that level, so he will have to play differently. I think he's gonna move much slower and try to spam the Y button, and then probably move a little bit up and then finishing slowly with instant platforms again.
Yeah, he definitely has the option to...
Oh, that's way too short.
Yeah, he figured it out.
Alright, that's good.
Okay, let's just hope the instant platforms don't fail this time, because I think that's like the last very risky part. After that, it's going to be a little bit easier, but he's still not safe. Also, I didn't pay attention to his life count in like quite a while. Do you know how many lives he has?
He's fine. I think he entered with probably more than 30 lives.
Okay. It was his life volume was actually pretty much on point. I don't know if you probably didn't notice that. Like in his strats, he wants to farm for... oh dang, not again. He wants to farm for 40 lives after World 3, and he actually was on point. He had 41 lives after the farming session. That was pretty good. So he got a lot better at keeping track of his life count, which is really good. It's gonna save him some time of unnecessary farming.
27 lives, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, he has a big buffer for the rest of the world.
So no world record on that run.
Well, unfortunately, yeah. Also, if you think that like this is hard, or like just imagine. I already told you about the 102% run. At the start of Webwoods, no, not Webwoods, Animal Antics, he has to do like this instant web thing for like I think like 3 minutes to get to the wind part. Yeah, and it's like he had to do that quite a lot, considering like that the wind part went like really bad in this 102% run.
Yeah, the part section is very difficult, and he was keeping missing at the exact same spot. And so during that, it was his first full blindfolded attempt run, I believe, and it was already pretty late in the run. And that level took him 1 hour and a half to make entirely.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, considering that Animal Antics is that late in the game, and it was a 16-hour run, so he was incredibly exhausted. It's like almost impossible to focus anymore.
Yeah, imagine he spent like 16 hours sitting on the chair, blindfolded.
Yeah. You like entirely lose your sense of orientation. It's weird what happens if you're blindfolded for that long.
Okay, new attempt. The instant platforms went better that time, so let's hope he went to the end. But he has only one Kong, just like the previous time. So we will have to change his setup for the end.
The worst thing is that you can't even see it. It's so weird to watch. It looks
almost
good.
there, almost there.
Getting it.
So
Okay.
yeah, the way he's doing instant platforms, so pressing L and R the same button, then he has to move, so he's just tapping a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Please, no, he's... Okay, he
Okay,
stopped.
he's playing it safe, got
Oh my
it.
god,
Keep
oh my
attention.
god.
Oh god, oh god.
Oh my
okay,
god.
He realized it. Okay, he saved it. Now the rest should be easy. Just
It was weird because he jumped.
gap.
He jumped
One
very
more
fast
jump,
at the
one more
beginning.
jump.
Okay, DK coin now.
Oh yeah, right. He has to get the swag decay coin.
I don't know if he required another Kong or not.
I honestly don't know. I don't think he does because he usually sacrifices the Kong.
So he's
yeah,
gonna
this is a
go
normal
off screen to reset the the bonuses.
Oh, he got
And
it.
he got it.
What a guy. Getting that swag decay coin. What is that? A 4-frame window? Or
If I recall well, it's 8 frames.
8 frames. Still.
Maybe other speedrunners might.
Even less. Getting swag balloon, getting that decay coin.
This is purely swag, but it's always what you want to see.
I mean, this is definitely legit run now.
Good way to finish a hard level.
Yeah. So now goes Creepy Crow.
Intentional hit there.
So, I think what Katun said is that, like, definitely the hardest part about this is, like, it's getting more and more difficult with each phase, and, I think the hard part about this is mostly just dodging, the X on the ropes between the phases.
He almost didn't grab the barrel.
Yeah, those get extremely fast, and you have, like, very little room to move, and as you can see, like, he's dodging them, like, really close.
And also, the barrels RNG, the barrels spawn are purely RNG, between left, middle, and right. So he has to find it, and in order to do that, he's doing a path so that whatever the path he's using, he finds that barrel.
GG. First try Creepy Crow, that's very nice. I think don't know if he did that in his PB, but that's rarely the case. The first try could be Kuro. Alright. So yeah.
Farming some
His
lives.
strats, he said he's gonna farm some life till about 30. Maybe he's gonna get a little bit more for the marathon. We'll see. Gotta get the Kong back first so the farming strat can work. But he's at 28 lives right now, so he's pretty much where he wanted to be. So we'll see for how long he's gonna farm.
Taking advantage of that farming to start my setup.
This is such a conveniently placed chest there with the 2 lives. I mean, there would be other spots that would be usable for farming, which would be pretty consistent, but it's so thick and fast. Like, the run would take a lot longer if there wasn't this extremely fast farming method. Yeah, he uses start select to get out of the level.
You can only do start select at the levels where you hitted the trigger at the end.
Yeah, so, which is why he could never potentially ever do a wrong warp here in this level, since well, you unlock the next level on the map, but the game thinks that you actually never ever finished the level, so you cannot start select out of the game. Okay, so about Arctic Abyss, we get our next animal buddy here, the good old On Guard.
Hardest section is probably that jump. The rest of the level is
it's
okay.
The level itself is pretty okay, yeah, but On Guard has a pretty weird hitbox. Not as bad in DKC2 as in DKC1, from what I understood.
That's what I always say, but people often does not agree with me in chat.
Yeah,
what I say about On Guard in DKC2 is that sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm gonna get hit, and you hit the guy. Sometimes you have a lucky hit. In DKC1, whatever happens, you get hit. Okay, the puffies, so one of them did not spawn. For some reason, like, we don't really understand how they spawn and despawn.
He mostly doesn't use timing strats in this level, since like the fish is quote-unquote kinda unpredictable, and since again it's an underwater level, so there's obviously a lack of normalization in this level, apart from like aligning with walls. And kind of the dash is semi-normalized, but it's not one of the harder levels. It's just kind of weird. It failed 1 or 2 times. Like, see how that goes. There you go. First try Octogibus, very nice.
We might not see first try next level.
Yeah. Winnywell is like generally just a very slow and long level, and I think one of the biggest problems in this level is that due to the wind, normalization is not possible in most parts of this. There are some minor things that you may consider, like he's still switching around the Kongs from time to time simply because Dixie Kong is moving slightly faster upwards than Diddy Kong is, so that's used for some strats here.
Intentional hit.
The first part of this level is not really too hard from a blindfolded perspective. It's the final part that's definitely the hardest here.
Yeah, it's because you have a lot of these in a very small area, so you don't have a lot of space to move in order to not hit those bees. Hitting the bonus here to skip a section.
I was actually thinking about doing some of the bonuses just for fun to show it off, but I guess he ultimately decided not to, just to save the time and to get it like a little bit more consistent. Okay, got the midway, that's good. So again, if you have any questions in chat about the game or the blindfolded strats about this game, then feel free to ask her. I'll try to answer as many of them as possible.
So we're arriving at the hard section of that level. He's gonna sacrifice a Kong. There's a section where you can skip bees if you're very good with the perfect setup, with eyes open. Usually, what people that's not good. He's gonna kill himself.
Oh.
He needs to lose a Kong later. So you have 3 bees next to each other. And usually you're going from between the number 1 and number 2, then between number 2 and number 3, and then behind number 3. However, it's too precise, so he does a damage boost in order to skip that section.
He's also deviating a lot with like holding down or holding up to like variety speed. So the question came up how many people run this category and how long Katun is doing it. So Katun is the only one who ever ran this category and who's currently running this category. And he's been stratting since mid or early 2016 and has done like his first run in autumn 2016. And since then, he's like pretty much at it.
And he started with the most difficult challenge of 102%.
Yeah, which was extremely ridiculous.
Maybe silly.
Yeah, but he already said that he's not going to return to that. So we're just going to see, maybe one day in the future, but probably only 80% runs from now on. And he's going to do like other DKC games as well. Like he said that like his ultimate goal would be to do a entire trilogy run. The series, so DKC 1, DKC 2, and DKC 3, any percent. We as the Brotherhood, like a few people are like, I'm not including myself here, are doing like research on like the first and the third game, like especially on like RNG in the third game. There are some parts that may turn out a little more tricky for blindfolded. So yeah, we're at it. Let's say that.
Yeah, I never played DKC3, but I'm starting slowly to start striding DKC1. I did 3 levels. Rainbow did level 1 and K. Rool. And my 3 levels I strided were not from
Okay, there
the
we go.
levels he did. All right.
Nice little knockback there to
Second
get onto
try.
the goal. Yeah, second try is really respectable.
Pretty good.
Okay, so Castle Crush. I'm sure you'll be a lot better at explaining the weird technical stuff behind Castle Crush than I will be, so go right
Castle
ahead.
Crush is an amazing auto-scroller of 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Which, thanks to developers, we have a glitch that makes the final trigger spawn go down to where we are. In order to do that, we're going to do as often for the glitches in DKC2, make an invisible barrel and like crash it at the correct time. It's a very funny glitch which can crash the game in many ways if you do it in an improper way. That's a weird hit. And so you see the DK barrel that was just next to him. We're gonna grab the DK barrel for 1 minute and 30 seconds into that level, so that he's able to do that glitch. It's hard to say why it works. Like often in these games, it's like this.
Yeah. Castle Crush in general is like kind of unique from what I understood. Like the stuff that's going on, like in the code with the rounds. It seems like this game is like generally pretty much broken, which causes a lot of interesting things. There's like also a hard lock that you can do in this stage. Like you can completely destroy your cartridge in this level if you do.
If you explode the barrel approximately here.
Yeah,
and from the pixel you are, you can soft lock, change your save states, yes, your saves. I mean, make appearing a cleaver, transforming yourself into a kluba.
It's super weird. And it's generally also a very laggy area compared to all levels.
Yeah, you want to have as much as possible the barrel in your hand to avoid lag. So here we go. Crushing here.
Okay, looks good.
We're gonna find out.
On the goal, can make the jump, and there we
go.
Very nice.
Clapper's Cavern, he has some difficulties on it. Recently, at least.
Yeah, like especially the later part for some reason, but I think in this last attempt he also had support with the early part. It's definitely not one of the easiest level, but not nearly close to one like a few of the harder levels. Yeah, so normalized movement in this level would not really be a thing, like especially on the slippery ice, since you like always had to wait for this lighting to fully end, which would take ages. So normalized movement here is rather not a thing, but rather a lot of time movement, like almost entirely.
Audio cues also and putting yourself with a setup by running into the big guy.
Right.
Blue guy. So waiting for the guy to. Oh yeah, he hits him so that he moves faster, so that when he falls into water, he falls behind after the conks. Otherwise, if he remains blue, then the big guy will gonna hit him.
Yeah. Okay. He made the team throw onto this platform. He had. Okay, now got the invincibility barrel. Very nice. He had a little bit of problems with, especially that team throw onto that platform, like in his last attempt. Didn't pick up. Did he? Kind of closing in on him.
Throwing the boyfriend strat.
Yeah. Come on, a little closer. There we go. Okay. Yeah. He constantly checks if he has both Kongs there, or if he actually got Diddy by just pushing the team up button. And if he gets the sound cue for the team up, then he knows that he recollected Diddy. So that's a fairly simple strat. He
And
overshot.
that's what happened in that level often.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He kind of tends to not throw Diddy far enough there. It's a pretty precise team throw there. That sometimes happens.
Well, there was a possibility that we were going to be way ahead of the schedule, and we're not going to be that much ahead.
Well, it doesn't put the pressure on him to show us. Like he actually thought about what he would do if he would be ahead of schedule, which was like a very good option, to be honest. Like on his practice run yesterday, at like the first half an hour, he was already 3 minutes ahead of his PB. He could have shown something like blindfolded wine clip, which he doesn't this year, but that doesn't put the pressure on him on actually having to do that, because it's extremely precise.
Yeah, it was also suggested that I was going to do another run after my double speed DKC1 run, but probably that may not happen.
Yeah. And that, if I may, do that little advertisement right here, that double speed DKC 1 run is going to be right after this run with Parisian here running. I saw it myself, it's a hell lot of fun, and he's extremely good at it, so definitely make sure to stay tuned for that after the Blindfolded DKC 2 run. So yeah, this is pretty much going just like his practice attempt yesterday. He has like some difficulties with this level lately, which happens. It's pretty hard to be consistent at everything at all the time. There are always levels where you are rather inconsistent for a time.
Why throw DD instead of jump spin? I think that I didn't make the setup here myself or anything, but I think that if he's going to jump on the platform, he's going to jump on ice, and he's not sure about how the Kongs are going to slide. Whereas after the throw like this, the Kongs remain in a good position.
Yeah, that hit there was not intended. He jumped a little bit early there, which is kind of unfortunate. Also, this setup here, it's like in this world, it's definitely the fastest Kong you can get if you lose a Kong. But it's also kind of the trickiest setup for getting a Kong back, since that jump is like kind of precise. He usually gets the first try, but you may sometimes see him falling like into this water pit. So this is like probably the hardest back up Kong to get in the entire run.
As you see, after he did the throw, he went down so that he keeps Kong in a perfect position. And then, yeah, throwing DD on the spine is taking advantage of the fact that we have invincibility barrel. Oops, way long.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. He never is too, like, he's never not too far. Like, the Kong never lands before this, what is that even, a sea liar? Or is this the mode that's supposed to be? How's that even called?
No, I'm not sure about those different kind of animals in English.
Yeah. Either way, he is like always overshooting it, but he's never like not throwing far enough, which is kind of interesting.
He was way off this time.
Yeah. So just for the note, at this point, he would have already finished, like if in his world record run, he would have already been done by now. And considering that he's just in World 6, this is pretty insane.
Game tapes, the first completed run of this took 16 hours, 102%, not any percent.
Yeah,
the first any percent was 4 hours and something.
Yeah. Because for some reason he thought he had to do like a 102% run first. I mean, it's kind of good that he got that out of the way, but
it was a bet with who? Isn't it Antius who asks him to do, who challenged him to do 100% rather than any percent?
I honestly don't know anymore.
It's a DKC2 speedrunner who dared him to do that. I said, oh, why not?
Well, I mean, Katun is
idea.
a creationist in itself, so honestly not surprised that he went for that, but I mean, he says himself that he's not going to return to it, so he made his experience with 102. Like, also some of the bonuses in DKC2 are just pretty insane. Pretty hard to nail. Oh, this time he was not far enough. But he cannot recover with only one Kong, which is unfortunate. Wait, no, he was not the wrong Kong, but he just didn't cover it all. It's interesting.
I see people talking about 103. I don't know if it's because there is a DKC3 run of 103. Yeah, but Blindfolded 103%. The problem is the amazing amount of RNG in bonus games.
Yeah, like, especially the bonus games with the green bananas. I mean, there would probably be setups where with like a probability of like 10% you could hit the game with that certain setup, but it would pretty much just be an RNG grind, which would be incredibly frustrating blindfolded, so Blindfolded 103 would most likely not be a thing.
Oh, we can send camera. He starts to be slightly angry. We might hear some Dutch slang words.
Unfortunately not, but yeah, that's another thing why I love to watch his stream with audio. Not only for the music he does himself, but also for the Dutch curses.
Yeah, you improve your Dutch vocabulary with him.
Oh, I definitely did. Like, I know so many Dutch curses by now, it's insane. And his chair is like it doesn't get treated very well, to put it that way. He plays with a lot of temperament, to say it like that. Yeah.
Here we go again.
Let's see.
No.
I have the feeling that he keeps overshooting it more and more. So maybe he has like a wrong idea of why it is failing. Maybe he thinks he's not far enough, or like he decided to change the beat count to like a restrat on the fly. So yeah, I think at some point he will realize that he's just heavily overshooting it. But that might take 1 or 2 more attempts. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
if he fails, sometimes you don't know if it's because you're too far or too short. He with the water, you can hear that it's too far. So it's possible to change his strat live, probably by, I don't know, maybe half a bit.
Yeah. And also the thing with Blindfolded is that sometimes your setup is completely right, but well, humans fail. Humans make mistakes, and especially in Blindfolded, you don't realize when it's actually your mistake to some degree, or when it's the mistake of the strat. So it's kind of a mix of just retrying strats and restratting on the fly, like adapting to the strats like very, very slightly. And that's basically how you know that oh, there we go, we got it. Let's see if he gets the rest. Okay, there we go. You made the jump, very nice.
Yes.
Jump over the guy.
Yes.
There we go. GG.
It's not over.
You can see a little bit of relaxation there on the camera.
Yeah, you might feel release, but incoming CLC chain link chamber. Turbo warp.
I love this level though. I mean, it's not that he's not consistent with it. He actually is pretty consistent with it, and he even like developed a backup strat in case the wrong one fails in the first attempt. So I hope we're going to see it first try here, but this is just extremely incredible to watch if everything goes well. This is definitely one of the more impressive levels. If like, I mean, all of them are impressive, but that one specifically, in my opinion. I love that
when
level.
I run this game, like I failed so many times, CLC on pace, and it's sometimes you're like, why did it fail this time? It's pretty tricky. The jumps are very precise, and you might see him doing it very quickly and like, wait, this guy is doing it better than me?
Yeah, you just gotta watch it. You can't really explain it, you gotta see it. It's so fast and so precise. And it's like, he only uses beat, strats, and normalization here, so just the way this clobber setup works is insane. Now let's see if he gets the timing. Oh, he got it.
Invisible barrel. Now he has to turn right. Wait a little bit.
Okay, he spawned
first
it.
Try. Nice. Now going on the left to be sure that he's normalized.
Oh, first try. Very, very nice.
I don't know how many times it took him to get Typer Caverns in the first round CLC. That's blindfolded, guys.
Yeah, that's blindfolded. That's the kind of action that we're doing it for. Okay, so Toxic Tower. That's definitely not an easy level. The Radley part. Well, Radley is kind of nice because he has some kind of normalization. And, it's definitely not one of the easier levels, but I think especially the parrot part, Katun has some problems from time to time getting rid of all the bees in the way, so let's see how this goes today.
Katun has been starting to really speedrun that game recently, and I don't know if he's. I didn't recall how his CLCs were in speedrun now, but like if he fails, it must be a shame because now that he has his eyes open, he can do
Yeah.
that same setup with
He
a better
can't
timing.
even do it with sight. That's so embarrassing.
Pretty
yeah,
snake,
I mean,
pretty good snake station for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he actually said like for Brambler, I think there was that he actually has an easier time doing that with his blindfold setup than like with sight. Back in the day when he started doing this trick, just simply because like blindfolded gives you like just how reaction time worked. Like you react in a different speed to visual cues than you do to audio cues. That gives you like entire differently options of like approaching setups like this. How nice he got through there. I remember yesterday he got stuck there like midway for some reason, so it's nice that he gets this like immediately. This can be a little bit tricky.
We got snake station first try, which is a hard section.
Yeah, definitely. He
That
also makes
second
his
section
way
is
through
supposed
the
to be a bit
platforms.
easier.
Yeah. Getting through all the bees, very nice. So he can actually nail
Going
this
all the way
first run.
up and then falling slowly so that he hears when. Okay, get the damage boost here.
Okay,
Only when you hear the correct amount of bees killed.
Which can be kind of annoying because sometimes the game, due to the way audio channels work on SNES games, sometimes it can just eat the audio off the bee being killed. Okay, so he just has to make one more jump, but you should be able to do this.
That's normalized here.
Yeah, very nice.
First
try Toxic Tower, and first try Chaining Chamber as well. This is...
And first try Stronghold incoming.
Yeah, this is... wow, yeah. I'm pretty sure he will not fail Stronghold. I would be honestly disappointed if he did, but yeah. This is an extremely strong late game so far. And yeah, upcoming, like, obviously apart from the super difficult level Stronghold, you are gonna witness the, and here Katun clearly determines that the hardest level of the game for Blindfolded, Screecher Sprint. The strats for this level are pretty much 100% timing, especially of the race card, and some of the setups are just so extremely close, and just look at it. You gotta see it too. It's just insane.
So I seen in the commentaries racing coming, not yet. The first half is also tricky, and the blindfold jump. No, the jump, of course not. So the jump consists of jumping between the vine and the guy, the weird guy who throws stuff at you.
Oh, nice, he got the first try. This is kind of RNG-ish, like he seems to just spam throwing it up to and trying to hit it as soon as possible. So getting first try there is a nice little RNG boost.
Are there more blindfolded runs coming up? You have a Super Punch-Out blindfolded run, I think tomorrow, and Funk is doing a Super Metroid blindfolded run Monday night. Well, in the night between Sunday and Monday.
Right. So yeah, 3 blindfolded runs in the entire event. This is the first one. I would watch all of them if I would be you. Like,
go watch Funk getting that sub 2 hours.
Of course, yeah. I will do my best. Okay, so this is so far pretty good.
Right, we reach the halfway. Gonna take an intentional death just to renormalize his position.
There's really no point in trying to like do this without the intentional death. It's just make it so much easier. And yeah, so from this point on, this is 100% timed. This is just pure timing, and just look how precisely he's gonna move just with the timing. This is madness.
So he's triggering the race. He could try to skip the race. However, it would give him a shitty position. And also, with this setup, the race is not the problem. He's gonna win.
Yeah.
If he reaches
Winning or
the
losing is definitely not the problem. It's just not getting hit. Especially since he took that first hit there at the B wall intentionally to skip the second one. He cannot allow to get hit once here, so this is all incredibly precise.
Waited a bit too long.
So there.
All the movements here, it's just counting in his head.
Yeah, it's literally just counting, but incredibly good counting. Gotta give him that.
They avoid no safety Kong either because the path is very far. And also then the race would be a problem because he's winning, but not by that much. So if he had to re-grab the Kong, then for sure he would lose.
Like on his first setup that he did, like before a minor bunch of restrats that gave him a little bit more time. This was actually an extremely close race. He was still consistent with it, but it was like almost a photo finish. Now he has like a little bit more time, but it's still not that big of a time window. Again, the race part is not the problem here, but it's I love how he gets past the D-wall.
That's a hard section with the 4 Bs.
Oh, he's so freaking close. This is hard to watch.
How did he die here? How did he die?
That's the Bramble hitboxes. You cannot understand. Oh my god. This
is it.
Okay.
Going under the Bs.
Okay. Yes, you got it. Very nice.
And nice.
GG. What the hell? Okay, so K. Rool. Final hard part of the run. I think MSPB took him like 3 tries to beat him. It's definitely the hardest boss fight in the game, and it's has a bunch of different phases, like 9 phases, of which some of them are harder than the others. Especially the mid phase of the fight is like pretty hard compared to the beginning and the end. Most of the time there is a kind of a safe spot you can stand in, but in other times you just gotta stand right in the middle. He's trying to normalize his position as much as he can, which is not really a hard problem here, and just trying to jump over the cannonballs. And there's only one single bit of RNG here, which are those 2 cannonballs here. Both of them, or either one of them, can lose their spikes, and you gotta pick exactly that one and throw it at K. Rool.
Yes,
so he has to kind of make a move that could pick up both of them, which he did perfectly well here.
It's exactly same idea as in Crow 2. The barrels were spawning in 3 different possible spots, and he had to find a path where he was going in all 2 spots. So here he's taking the iframes to be able to get any of the cannons that unspikes.
So far, a pretty solid K. Rool fight here.
Yeah, so far so good.
Also, this is definitely one of the levels where if you screw up one thing, there is no recovery from it. There are a few levels where you can actually save yourself, where you can do some recovery by like intuition, but this is like 100%, this fight is 100% scripted, and so is Katun strat. It's really just hit the entire thing or miss it. There's nothing in between.
Oh yeah, the reason why you could see him like going on the left for so long, and why not he just throws a cannonball on the right? Like, it's very likely because to keep track with music, so that he throws at correct beats, at correct positions, at the same specific spots of the music.
Just makes the general thing a lot easier. Also, getting hit by the blue fog here is not a problem as long as you're on the very right side of the room.
Yeah, no Blue DD. Could be the next Blue DD. Could be the next swag strat he could add in his run.
Maybe.
So he's
goes
taking,
for the red fog.
yeah, and he uses it very well. The red. Oh no!
Oh no!
Still has
Jumped
a
a
con.
little
Oh no!
bit
He
too late
decides
there.
to take the death. Yeah, because for the purple clouds, I don't know how you call them.
Me neither. I doubt they have a name.
He goes just like in some setups. He goes on the right, just behind Carol. He looks at Carol shooting his bullets, and at some point then he goes on the left. And the last section is not that complicated. The very last hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was almost on pace to get the same time as yesterday.
Right.
He was going to have a sub 226. He had a 226.
You can still get us up to 30.
Yeah, people in chat say no blindfolded blunt lock. It's possible to soft lock the game in King Terrell, and it happened to Blunt Bunny in a race in the tournament. I like that setup for the second hit of second phase. I should totally steal that strat for double speed, because it's a harder hit off in that category against Carol.
It's very interesting to see how blindfolded runs affect like speedruns. I noticed that a lot in my 80% speedruns. Like a lot of the knowledge that I gained from doing blindfolded, I can totally apply in my 80% speedruns and 100% speedruns as well. Just you basically gain a completely new understanding of the game by doing it blindfolded, and that's like helping out in any possible way it could.
Almost hit.
Yeah, that was a little bit catchy.
So second attempt on the red clouds.
Should know that he jumps a little bit earlier. Oh, that was already pretty close, but he made it. Okay.
We're good. So as we said, he's gonna stuck on the right side, wait for Carol to shoot everything, then go on the left side and run with PD left.
Yeah, this should be like a pretty easy point.
This should be game over.
Yeah, it's very unlikely that this is not gonna end here, but not gonna jinx it till it's actually over. Okay.
Even keeps 2 Kongs. GG Katun.
GG.
A sweet
very nice run.
2:28 and 20 seconds. Well, he split it late.
Still the sub 230. Amazing.
So yeah, Katun is probably gonna come in commentaries for a few minutes.
Yeah.
You will be talking with him about blindfolded runs, what we do in blindfolded, all the social network we have about it, and I will leave to set up for the run.
All right. Good luck for the run then. And
thank you very much. And see you.
And thanks for commentating with me. It was a pleasure. Hello, Katun, GG.
Thank you very much.
Chat
Quite,
and Parisian and me loved the run. Congrats on the sub 230.
Thank you. It was worse than I expected. It was.
How do you feel? Okay, and Katun is gone again. Apparently some disconnect, I feel. He's back.
Excuse me, that I accidentally loaded Discord again. I wanted to load the stream, but
Alright.
to read the chat.
Look,
So,
how do you feel?
kind of exhausted. Like, I've been working the couple of past week. I've been doing a run pretty much every day, and this is it. And it was a really bad run, but I did it in the end, so I'm really happy about that. And I hope that the viewers liked it. And
Oh, the viewers loved it. The viewers really loved it. Like, we were all really impressed by just the amount of optimization you put into this run and all the crazy tricks you did, all the long warps. We were just stunned by what you were able to produce there. It was really impressive.
That's awesome to hear. I don't really know what to say. I didn't prepare a speech.
Yeah, just talk to your 2,000 viewers and say them how awesome you and they are, and they will be happy.
I wanna at least thank you all for viewing, and Punk and Racing Player. I wanna thank you for commentating. I'm sure that was very entertaining to hear as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Parisian Player already went off to prepare his run of DKC1 double speed all stages. So yeah, first of all, make sure to check that out after this little block here, since we have a little bit of time left. The estimate was 230. We finished in 230, or you finished in 230, I should say. We wanted to use... Yeah, there we go. So first of all, make sure to follow Katun24, just as Void already says it. So yeah, we wanted to talk about something else, just because just before this run ends. I want to give you the word, since you were not allowed to say anything for quite a while now.
Well, I would like to. Well, I think you perhaps talked about the Blindfolded Brotherhood a little bit. So
barely, but yeah.
Barely. Well, let's do that now. Maybe you can put so let's introduce it first. We have this thing called Blindfolded Brotherhood. It's basically it was Punk who got me into it, and we both kind of started it about a year ago, I think, or a little bit less. So Punk just runs Super Metroid Blindfolded, and he started that about a month or 2 months before I did last year. And he's also in SNES Superstars. He will do his Blindfolded Super Metroid 100% run on Monday at 2:40 a.m. East Coast time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So basically I was just really intrigued by just the idea of doing a complete game, and not really a very small game like Blindfolded, and stratting that and all that. So I just tried it out for DKC2 because DKC2 is my favorite 2D platformer of all time. And I thought it would be impossible at first, but I did the hard parts first, and it turned out to be all possible. It was really amazing to realize that, and then I just went on and thought, why not just do the whole game? And there we are, months later, of course. But yeah, so we both really got into this Blindfolded thing and decided to start the Blindfolded Brotherhood. And we want to expand. We want to get the whole world interested in Blindfolded gaming, and we want to hopefully inspire other people, other speedrunners or non-speedrunners to try Blindfolded gaming. So we have this Discord currently where we hang out a lot, and we can help each other with strats and just show off what we can do and stuff like that. Just support each other in any possible way.
Yeah.
So please click the Discord link if you're interested. Anyway,
the link to Discord in the chat. So
awesome.
I want to say something else. Since I think you can confirm that to me, since you started pretty much at the same time with me. The thing with Blindfolded in general is like a big misconception is that Blindfolded is not hard. It just takes a lot of dedication, and doing so is such a big project solo is like way more exhausting than doing it with like a big group. And we have the basis of such a group. So if you have like any game where you think you know it like the back of your hand, and you would just try it out, just go into the Discord, hang out, maybe try like just a single stage or just a single segment of your game, and then you can expand from that on it. And just come into the Discord, talk about the game. We have like everything there we can do. We talk about different strats, different games, about how RNG affects games, all that stuff. And if we cannot help you, then probably no one else can. Nah, that's not true. But we would just like to make Blindfolded gaming more open, and we don't want it to be something as special as it is. I mean, we
don't want it to be a meme category. Basically, it's
yeah, right. Like
not something
right
that
now,
you do for me. It's really something that you have to strat and prepare and do lots of runs like normal speedrunning. But
yeah, I mean, the Katun24 run, he had like all those speed techniques in it, and it's definitely not a slow category, and I can tell you it's one of the most satisfying categories out of all of them. Just being able, just the feeling when you finished your first run, like your very, very first run, is such an amazing feeling. I cannot even describe it. It gives me goosebumps if I just think back about it. But yeah, so if you feel like you just want to try it out, even if you just want to try it out, just feel free to join the Discord. We are open for everyone. And just talk to us there, and maybe you will be next year here on the SNES Superstars and running your game here blindfolded. Or the game of any console, who knows. So yeah, that's just what we wanted to say. Is there anything you have to
add? Well, not really. Yeah, you had a really nice speech there. Thanks for that. So, I don't know. Yeah, that was that. And I want to thank Feastal, Mythical, and crew, and all the volunteers for making this possible, giving this opportunity. It's really cool. And I want to thank the DKC community for supporting me with this as well throughout the past year. And Punk, of course, too, but I did that already. So I guess Racing Player is starting up his stream.
Yeah, right he's already on the fly.
He's waiting for us to shut up, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna give green light to Parisian Player. Thanks again, Katun, for giving
Parisian
us the
Player,
opportunity.
by the way, is also a Blindfolded Brotherhood member. He has done A Link to the Past, Blindfolded.
All bosses,
all dungeons,
including Horrible Moldorm.
Yep, including Moldorm. That's the most impressive thing, I guess.
That's definitely the most impressive thing. So yeah.
And he's not gonna do Blindfolded now. He's gonna do Double Speed Donkey Kong Country 1.
Which is
something totally different, but very, very interesting to watch as well.
Yeah.
So be sure to stay here in the channel.
All right. So thanks for letting me commentate. Thanks for running, and thanks for Feastal for inviting you and us to this event. And yeah, I think we should really make green light for Parisian now, and then we're good to go.
All right. Good luck, Parisian.
So, see you, everyone, and have a good night.
Have a good night.